as you all have probably seen from like the last week of our videos, we're no strangers to personal drama. And it was unfortunate that it had to spill out on the YouTube the way it did, which turned ugly really fast, and we didn't want that, so Ben and I eventually buried the hatchet, and now things are a lot better. That being said, I know we're not the only ones out there. Hell, in some cases, our shit is very petty compared to what some other people out there are going through. And in terms of internet controversy, and in terms of people who have been ran through the grinder on some things, Mr. Matthew Patrick, or Patthew Matrick, or MatPat, or that one dude from Game Theorists and Film Theorists. Yeah. He is, he's had some controversies in the past, especially with the whole For Honor thing between the samurai, the Viking, and the knight. And then there was also his whole comparing Earthbound to Undertale, and Earthbound and Undertale are actually connected, and he had to relent on that. And also some of his other theories have been ran through the ringer and everything, but hey, it's just a theory.
His Phoenix Wright theory is like the worst one.
Yeah, that's another thing he's like, been ran through the ringer.
A lot of people said that was really bad, and I remember just watching it and being like, "What? Why did you not take into account like any of the facts that the game says are a thing? Like when you made this,
well,
like you just basically had to completely change the entire fact." Like set up and like the rules of that game's universe that they have pre-established in order to fit a random thing you made up. It's not a good theory at all. It's really terrible.
No, it's not. And he's been called into question on that.
And then like here recently, I heard he was playing, like doing a live stream on a game that I'm trying to remember what it was. Yeah, Heartbound. That was it.
Yeah, the Heartbound and Undertale controversy.
Yeah, and the developer was like, "Why don't you link to the game?" He's like, "Well, we don't ever link to games." And like Toby Fox is actually like, "You should link to people's games." And he's like, "Oh, my bad." And so now he's changed it, and so he links to the games.
Well, originally what it was, he actually had the link to Undertale, so that a lot of people thought that he would be recommending Undertale, and he would get a little bit of a portion of the sales of Undertale just from the amount of people who visited it from that link. And he later came out and said that was actually something that was done on mistake. We were doing a video on Undertale and Heartbound, and things got mixed up. We're sorry. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But at the same,
I saw tweets saying some different stuff than that, because the tweets were like him trying to defend like not linking games in any of his videos, and then Toby Fox was like, "You should always support developers, especially like indie developers. They need people like your guys' help, you know." And then he kind of went back and apologized, and apparently changed it after that, is what I saw. But
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole thing that's been happening, and honestly, I have my qualms with MatPat, but overall, I've always found MatPat's stuff entertaining to a certain degree. There's certain theories I've watched that are just like, that are absolute crap, but then I saw other theories, I'm just like, that actually brings up an interesting point.
I mean, he's got at least one. He has a Dark Souls 3 theory on who the Ashen One actually is.
Yeah.
That I like so much that I consider it like my personal canon of it.
Yeah.
So I made the character based off of who he, put all the stuff and the evidence together to come back to who he thought it might be. And I was like, I'm going to make that character as for my next playthrough, because it was just so cool. It was a good idea.
And even though the theory has been shot down, I think, effectively by canon, I liked his that Luigi is Rosalina's father. I liked that theory, but at the same time, I understand why it isn't true. And also, I know what made him very popular was his Five Nights at Freddy's theories. And I've seen enough of Five Nights at Freddy's theories that it's just like, there's some stuff that's actually really cool. Like when he pointed out that how the similarities between how many people or how many mechs there are in the first game versus how many people died in this one Chuck E. Cheese shooting in Aurora, Colorado, which was scary when he did all of the analysis of it and everything. It was really, really terrifying. And I always thought stuff like that was really cool. But as many problems as I've had with Matt Pat, I've always seen him as entertaining, and he put out a serious video here recently that people have actually been requesting that we watch because they say it is relatable to stuff that we've gone through in the past with MCNs. As you all probably are aware, we used to be involved with an MCN called Fullscreen, which is, in a lot of people's minds, the biggest name in MCNs, but over time, the need of MCNs has declined, and instead they become companies that are all about copyright protection and all that, which to me is a little bit sketchy, but at the same time, whatever. And there was actually, at one point, I noticed his hashtags in this. He had Defy Media, and I know that Matt Pat was involved with Defy Media because whenever I got a call from Defy Media, they told me, hey, we actually are involved with these people here. They had the AME channel, they had Smosh, they had the Game Theorists, Film Theorists, and I was just like, all right, that's really cool. I'll think about it. But then Fullscreen gave us an offer. And not only did they give us the exact same offer as Defy, but they offered us a signing bonus, so we re-signed with Fullscreen. And then I think it was a year and a half later, Fullscreen drops us. And that was that. And now here we are. We're on our own. We don't have an MCN backing us, and instead it's just us. So anyway, Matt Pat has this video called "They Stole 1.7 Million," and I think I know what this has to do with. So let's see what happens.
2018 was the hardest year in my life, and I don't mean that in the way a YouTuber stubs their toe and suddenly says, "Oh my gosh, I almost died." I actually mean that 2018 was the year filled with the highest of highs, but also the lowest of lows that I've ever experienced in my, 31, 32 years of existence. High point, reaching 10 million subscribers, something I never thought was possible. Getting a diamond play button when it was first announced was so far removed from what I thought was in the realm of possibility that to find so many people excited to nerd out and theorize with me is just incredible. 7 years into doing this crazy YouTube thing, and the channels are stronger now than they ever have been, which is saying a lot. Oh, and by the way, don't worry, that 10 million subscriber special is coming. You guys should know at this point that I'm just really slow about doing stuff. Low point, our house almost burning down in the California wildfires. And when I say almost burning down, I literally mean across the street from our house is black. You have no idea the mental toll it takes on you to watch news coverage and see the red fire line approaching where you live. It's scary. It's unsettling. It is so traumatic to know that you might wake up and what you had worked so hard to build and buy is just gone. That safety net is ripped out from under you. High points, huge high point, highest high point of the year is the birth of our son Oliver, who is literally the coolest potato I've ever met.
Stomach table. You have to suck in. There you go. Yeah.
But that comes with the low point of everything that comes wrapped around giving birth to a new child. Watching your partner and your wife have to deal with tremendous morning sickness when you are powerless to do anything to relieve that pain outside of, just get more watermelon because it's the only thing that she can eat. And then after he arrives, watching as she's unable to walk for multiple weeks and suffering through all that pain of recovery. Meanwhile, you're dealing with a baby who just cries all the time, and you're trying to give him the love that he needs, but it's really hard to actually know what he wants at any given point in time. Mind you, we're still trying to run a business, make sure that you have videos in your inbox so that way the YouTube algorithm gets fed. Our family lives across the country, so we're not getting any help from there, and we are clueless. We have no clue what we're doing, and we're getting like 2 hours of sleep for the better part of 3 months every single day. It is a lot. High point. Raising $200,000 to support mental health research in what I can say is one of the proudest, happiest days that I've ever had in the 7 years of doing YouTube. But obviously that comes off the heels of what was the lowest of low points last year, losing my partner, my friend, Ronnie Edwards, to suicide. But I've already talked about that.
Yeah, Ronnie was the lead editor of
But there was one
Game
other
Theory.
absolute lowest low point of 2018 that I haven't been able to talk about on the channel yet because of legal reasons. You know that when someone says because of legal reasons, it's going to be some serious business. And worse yet, it wasn't just a low point for me, but it was also a low point for 50 other creators on this platform that you know, and you love, and you watch. Collectively, us 50 had $1.7 million stolen from us. $1.7 million stolen from 50 people. And if that wasn't bad enough, in my case, it was taken by someone who I thought I knew. Someone who I thought I could trust. Someone who only weeks after giving birth to Oliver hopped on the phone with Stephanie and I and lied directly to our faces, knowing full well that he intended to take our money, but oh no, he's gonna offer us some newborn advice. And if we have any hope of getting these earnings back and making sure that this never happens to another creator ever again, then I need your help. I need you to listen to this story. Today I'm telling the story of Defy Media. Now, some of you may have heard a little bit of this. Some of you, this might be completely new to. So to make sure that we're all on the same page, let me rewind a bit. Defy Media was what's known as an MCN, or a multi-channel network. And if you watch a decent amount of YouTube, you might have heard that phrase tossed around a little bit.
Multi-channel network.
MCNs.
Multi-channel network.
MCN.
Multi-channel network.
You might even be able to name a couple. Full Screen, Maker, Machinima, PewDiePie's Revel Mode was one back when that was a thing. And basically these are all businesses that were built with the intention of helping YouTubers. Back in the olden days of YouTube, you actually had to join an MCN in order to get your videos monetized and use things like custom thumbnails. Nowadays, it's changed a lot, where copyright protection is the primary goal of MCNs, as well as getting you better brand deals or things like, if you're a big creator, like a TV deal, potentially. Funny enough, my first ever job was actually working at an MCN. Back when game theory was just this cool talking point on my resume, I actually worked at a small MCN called Big Frame. I was hire number 7. We worked out of one room in central Los Angeles, and there weren't enough desks for me, so I sat on the floor and worked on my laptop. My laptop, my personal laptop, not like a company-owned laptop. As the person who understood numbers, but also understood what it meant to be a creator, I became the optimization guy. Basically, it was my job to consult the YouTube channels in the network on what their channel health was and what they could be doing better. And so here you have Matt Pat with a solid 30,000 subscribers to his name, but pretty good understanding of YouTube, having to consult channels with over 1 million subscribers on what they're doing wrong. And mind you, 1 million subscribers back then was a huge deal. Like, it's a big deal now, but it was a huge deal back then. These were some of the top channels on the platform. Channels that you probably still may know today. Daystorm, Mystery Guitar Man, Corridor Digital, Miranda Sings. In fact, I designed one of the channel banners for Miranda Sings. I think I can probably pull it up here if I can find it through Wikipedia. And don't worry, it was intentionally made to look cringy. I had this whole conversation with her about why it made sense for her brand. And as an employee of the MCN, if one of the YouTubers needed an extra actor in their video, we were just enlisted. It was a requirement of our job. Like this.
I won a lottery! That's great.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
That's great.
My first ever major YouTube collaboration. That kid, he's going places, ready to shoot up the charts. Anyway, I was one of the first to really start talking about the YouTube algorithm, and I was definitely the first person to get a lot of these YouTube creators to actually look at their data. Some of them took my recommendations. Most of them didn't, honestly. Most were just like, I'm ignoring this kid. And all the while I was doing game theory on nights and weekends in the background. I would actually stay late in the office working nights on writing or editing video. And some of the big YouTubers would walk past me and be like, oh, what are you working on? I'm like, I'm working on my channel. And they'd be like, haha, cute little kid. Go get him, buckaroo. It was kind of demeaning. And it inspired me to work harder. Now, this is where Defy comes in. After about a year of working at Big Frame, I move on to Defy, where I become their head of audience development, where they work with channels, just like Big Frame did, but they also own a lot of the biggest channels on the platform, like Smosh and Scream Junkies. You can actually see some more cameos there. This is me in the Scream Junkies 1-year anniversary. Oh, cute baby Matt Pat. I was actually there, making the decisions on what weapons got made on their Omni channel, where a real-life blacksmith was crafting fantasy weapons in real life. I'm not gonna lie, it was awesome. But my proudest moment was probably my team and I getting Morgan Freeman to read the lyrics to What Does the Fox Say back when that song was relevant.
A ring-a-ding-ding.
a ring-a-ding-ding.
Look at him. He is so confused and so angry and so over it. Morgan Freeman, you're not watching this, but if you ever do, I am sorry for that. Let me just say there was a lot of real hard work there too that was going on, but I just wanted to throw out these examples because I thought you would get a kick out of them. Anyway, I left Defy after about a year working there to do YouTube full-time because the channel by that point had gotten to be large enough. Most people hop into doing YouTube full-time like with a couple thousand subscribers. At this point, Game Theory had 3 million, so it was long overdue at that point. But the more time that I spent working at these companies, and Defy specifically, the more I started to see the questionable way they ran their business. Let me explain how broken this system is. Now, when you're signed into an MCN, YouTube sends your ad revenue check to the MCN, who then takes their cut as payment of whatever services they rendered to you, and then repackages that check and sends whatever's remaining over to you. Now, that doesn't seem like it should be that big of a deal, right? But if you stop and think about it, there's actually 2 problems with that. First, they rarely, if ever, do anything to really merit the money that they're taking from you. It's
Agreed.
just a sad fact of the matter. Now, that's not to say that
okay.
don't work with these companies.
Actually,
Jeff Olson at Defy, great representative.
That's actually something I want to talk. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Hang on, I have some shit to say.
Well, yeah, hold the fuck up. So, me being under Full Screen's umbrella, there was a lot of stuff that they promised me. A lot of ad deals, a lot of other things they were promising me, but nothing ever went anywhere. And as a matter of fact, the only ad recommendations that we got were from Crunchyroll, and they all came directly to me through our email. Like, I never got anything from Full Screen. Ever. I never got an invite to do something. The only thing I actually got at one point was a recommendation to change the title up in our reactions to actually put what we were reacting to first and then put Renegades React. And I didn't want to do that because I felt that destroyed the entire idea of us doing, Renegades React versus, big name thing here, then Renegades React.
Yeah.
Because to me, that just
essentially that's asking for like shady clicks, like when people are just not fully paying attention to like the thumbnail or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they read that title and then don't see the part on the internet and like, yeah, that sounds cool, and then they're like, wait, what the fuck is this? This is not what I.
Yeah, exactly. And that to me is just not good, not cool.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't follow that advice. And then I remembered our channel manager actually came to us and told us, hey, I think it was actually April last year, they were just like, hey, we're dropping you. Good luck. And I had no idea what the hell we were going to do. And then I applied for a Google AdWords account, and within 24 hours, I actually got approved. And that was actually a revelation to me. I was just like, holy crap, we're actually, like, this is awesome. This is amazing. I can't believe that we actually did it. We actually made it. And, yeah, it was, that was a whole thing. So, anyway, MCNs didn't really merit their existence with the money that they took outside of them being the ones who are able to accept money. And then I remember at one point Jetpack. Jetpack was one that was launched by CNanners and Tomska, and theirs was it was a subscription based one where you pay, I think it was like $5.99 or $6.90. I forget what the price was, but you kept 100% of your ad revenue, and they would act as your MCN and would receive and give you your money. 100% of it. No cuts, no nothing like that.
Basically, for like an MCN to be like anything worth paying them, they need to essentially be like a record label is to bands.
Yeah.
Like they need to be offering you checks to do certain things.
In which
like,
we
to
never
help
were.
you make productions and stuff. And then they need to be like, essentially like among their other bands, like not bands, but other channels, go to their other channels and be like, we need you to run an ad for this channel today. We're going to run an ad for you tomorrow on their channel, something like that.
Yeah, networking. I can understand a little bit of networking, but no, it was pretty much us just fending for ourselves. And when Defy came to us and offered us, because originally our split was 70-30, we would get 70% of the money, and then eventually it went to 90-10, and that's what Defy offered us. And then I was just like, well, Defy came to us and asked us if we would be willing to do 90-10. And they're like, okay, tell you what, if you sign with us right now, we won't only just do 90-10, we will send you a $2,000 signing bonus. And I'm like, awesome, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I re-signed right then and there, and then they negated the contract 7 months before it was up. So yeah, that was a whole rigmarole. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
For his creators, Jon Carl is without question one of the best representatives of his creators ever. He works so hard for them. I am honored to know you and work with you, buddy. But when a lot of these companies are representing hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of channels, there is no way that you can actually give services to all of them. Especially not services that merit you taking that much money from them. Just a fact. But secondly, and far more importantly, is the fact that that is the creator's money, first and foremost, but YouTube is sending it to a service that the creator uses. If that doesn't seem like that big of a deal, think of it this way. It's like if your paycheck, before it got sent to your house, was sent to like the water company, and then like the electric company, and then McDonald's, and whatever other services that you planned on using for the duration of that month, and then it eventually reaching your own pocket. Everyone gets their cut, and then you finally get access to the money that you rightfully own. It's still your money that you earned at your job at the end of the day.
It'd be weird if McDonald's was a monthly subscription service.
Jesus.
Like you paid a certain amount to be allowed to go eat there whenever you want.
Yeah. To realize that they could exploit to make themselves look bigger. Here they are, receiving hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of checks from YouTube for all their different creators' AdSense. Sometimes that money is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And of that money, they're maybe keeping 10-20% of it, but on paper, it all looks like the company's money. Defy's money, because it's sitting in a big bank account that aggregates all this stuff. So why would anyone care about this? Well, because big pots of money are attractive to investors. You would have MCNs getting all this ad revenue money from checks that didn't belong to them, and then ultimately go around bragging about how much money they were earning in the press, in blogs, to their big business contacts, saying, look at how rich and successful we are. Don't you want to invest your money in us, become a part of our business, make it bigger, more successful, and then we all make tons of cash? Hoping deep down inside to sell off before the bottom fell out of this whole Ponzi scheme. They were businesses that were founded with good intent, but ultimately built on nothing. Because when you have a business, whether it was started with good intentions or no, that is built on nothing, that you can't figure out a way to get profit out of, then you gotta sell it to someone who doesn't know any better. Big Frame sold to another MCN called Awesomeness for $15 million. Awesomeness then sold to DreamWorks, yeah, that DreamWorks, for $33 million. But the big news was Maker Studios selling to Disney for, get this, $500 million. Oh, sorry, $675 million is what it ended up selling for. Sorry for misspeaking there. And so here's Disney just buying this shiny new thing called Maker Studios. They open it up, see what's inside, all this money, all these views, and they find that there's nothing there. That all of that passes through onto the creators, and they're left holding the bag. They have to dismantle it. They have bought a business built on nothing. This article by DigiDay, actually, inside Disney's troubled Maker Studios acquisition, has a lot of pertinent quotes for our story today. I was excited to be there. I thought it was going to be the next big thing. But when you started to poke around, it was obvious there wasn't much there. That's from a former executive. Here's another one. It's the epitome of the colossal failure of the MCN business, said another employee. Every all-hands meeting was led off with the number of views that we were doing. 10 billion views, 11 billion views, 12 billion views. That was the outward-facing success story. But the reason the views were growing was because the network kept growing. We were just adding more and more channels. And there you had Disney left holding the bag. which is why when you look at Maker Studios now, under Disney, it looks completely different from the thing that they originally bought. A business built on nothing that was sold to someone who didn't know any better. So where was Defy in all this? They were doing largely the same thing. Investors giving them $15 million here, $30 million there. In 2016, they got $70 million. Don't know where that money went to for them to go bankrupt in 2 years. At one point, Defy even asked us if they could delay paying us our AdSense for a month. We didn't know why they asked, but we wanted to be a good partner, so we said sure. We found out later, and by later I mean recently, that they kept the money to make their books look better for the investors. Shady, shady, friends. So knowing how skeezy some of these MCN companies can be, why do creators sign up with them in the first place? Well, first, most creators don't know that any of this stuff is happening. I mean, I worked at 2 different MCNs for the better part of 3 years, and I only just now am able to put all these pieces together. Most people, you know, when they go into partnership with a company, assume that that company is going to deliver on the promises that were made to them, or at the very worst, just not deliver on the promises made to them, but never outright steal from them, because guess what? If they thought that that money was going to be taken unfairly from them, they wouldn't be in business together in the first place. But the even bigger issue here is that largely us creators don't have a choice. Like I said, back in the day, being a part of an MCN was required for monetization and thumbnails. Nowadays, it's required for copyright protection. If creators want to have copyright protections for their videos to prevent wrongful re-uploads or false claims from movie studios, music labels, what have you, then you have to be a part of an MCN. Because based on the system that YouTube has set up, those companies are the only ones with the tools that can offer those protections. And when you have channels that cover movies, TV, and video games, that sort of protection is important. So here we are, Steph and I, 2 new parents, deliriously tired, looking for a new network to join like we do every single year. We hop on the phone with the head of Defy, one of the top 2 guys at the company and someone who I've known since my time working there, who I've had somewhat regular conversations with every year at events like VidCon. We ask the usual slate of questions. What are you guys doing? What projects are you working on? Where are you headed in the next couple years? And he says things are great, better than ever, in fact. He references that $70 million of investment money that they had. And then we talk about kids. He asks about Oliver, we ask about his kids. It's a really nice conversation with someone who I've considered a professional mentor of sorts for the better part of 6 years. A few weeks later, his company collapses. Employees are let go. And not just let go, they are let go with no notice, no email, no nothing about what's going on. Smosh and other channels that belong to Defy are left homeless.
Smosh is homeless. Super homeless. Yeah.
Anthony, former founder of Smosh, is left penniless.
I just have to say everything that I'm feeling. I've been hiding it publicly for so long. Ian and I sold Smosh in 2011 to what eventually became Defy Media. So I sold it for $0. Selling for stock means that it's completely valueless unless that company goes public, which it never did.
And here I am, me and 49 other creators with $1.7 million of our money stolen from us. And you see, that's the thing. Yeah, it's about money, but even more importantly, it's about betrayal of trust. I have every reason to believe that when we got on that call that day, he knew that he was about to steal from us, that he was about to take our money to pay his debts or fill his offshore bank account or whatever. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. The more and more we learn about this situation, the more layers we peel back and try to find this money, the more complicated it gets. It's like a movie. It's so stupid. But someone who I thought had decency, someone who I at the very least saw as a friend or as a somewhat okay boss, would get on the phone and take advantage of someone he knew, and someone he actively knew had just had a child. And these sorts of things change you. They make you more cynical. They make you more angry, more depressed.
Yeah.
You go into every meeting with someone, every collaboration with someone, thinking, how is this person gonna screw me over? Mm-hmm. How are they gonna take advantage of me? You don't feel safe. You have countless sleepless nights wondering who's gonna get you next. How are they gonna
happens with
steal
relationships too.
Boy, howdy, doesn't it?
Sad. But the more success that we have on YouTube, that the channels have on YouTube,
it's one of my
the bigger
things
you
now
get,
is like I look for
the more
someone
people
who
are just
seems the
willing
least
to
likely to
cheat.
have a reason to screw
The
me
more
over.
they're looking to exploit you,
Yeah.
to
still
not
didn't work
work
last
with
time,
you
so.
or succeed in partnership with you, but just use you and then throw you away. Yeah, doesn't matter. As long as it's a quick, easy buck for someone on the other end. I've had to keep quiet about this for a long time. At first, it was my hope that I could use my connections with Defy and everyone that I knew there to somehow backdoor our way into finding our money and getting paid out, and then from there, being able to help out all the other creators who were involved in this process. But that hasn't worked. It only has led to a bunch of dead ends. Defy is gone. The guy won't respond to my emails or calls for obvious reasons, and whatever money Defy did have left has been repossessed by a bank named Ally Bank. And their job is to now look at the list of everyone that Defy owed money to and prioritize it in order of importance, and then start paying them back until the money's gone. And if you're at the bottom of the list, well, too bad, no money for you. You just out of luck. And you can bet that a group of YouTubers ain't gonna be too high on that list unless we do something about it, which is why I'm making this video, to force them to hear us, to hear our story and understand that the money that currently exists in the vaults as Defy's largely doesn't belong to them. Stephanie and I have reached out to each and every one of the creators who've been affected to lead the charge in making Ally Bank hear our story, understand a business that they, I guarantee, have no idea how it runs, and to recognize that that money, that $1.7 million that they have in the vault, doesn't belong to Defy and never did. It was taken out of our pockets. It was money that was used to pay our employees to run our businesses, because guess what? Unlike Defy, we actually care about building sustainable businesses and providing people livelihoods. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, this is just big YouTuber problems, but it's not. Of the 50 channels that were affected, a lot of them were also smaller creators, people who were using that ad revenue to barely cover their rents. That is why this is so important, large or small. Anytime someone gets stolen from, anytime there is unfair business practices, we have to raise awareness of it. The dirty secrets of MCNs have been kept quiet for too long. I want to ensure through this video and through this whole debacle that no creator ever gets screwed over by one of these companies ever again. So if you're a creator, here is what you need to take away from my story. First, don't accept anything other than 100% pass-through of your ad revenue. That is your money, and you deserve to keep it. The MCN has other ways that they can earn money off of you. If they don't want to accept that term, then don't accept the deal. It's as simple as that. Wait until you're bigger and have more negotiating power. Us and our channels, we have never accepted anything under 100% pass-through. Take our lead. Secondly, get it explicitly stated in your contract that your AdSense will be kept in a separate trust account, one that's away from the rest of the business's money, that is solely dedicated to paying out creators. Third, make sure it's written expressly in the contract that should anything happen to the company, you can leave immediately. Us 50 creators were lucky. YouTube intervened in our case, but don't take that for granted that they're gonna do that. Make sure you have it in writing. And lastly, make sure there are penalties in place should they ever be late on a payment or miss a payment. I know, it seems mean. I'm usually not the type of person to ask for those sorts of things, or like, I need more penalties, or this and that. I'm usually the person who's like, oh no, it's okay, it's fine, I'll be okay. But no, you have to protect yourself, because no one else is gonna do it for you. So what can you do to help all us creators who are affected by this situation? You already are by watching this video, by sharing this video, by talking about this video on other platforms. Because at the end of the day, if Ally Bank is ever going to take us seriously, they need to understand our story and why it matters. And nothing can do that better than a couple of large videos forcing them to listen. It's hard to ignore a multi-million view video that's getting a lot of social buzz. Just fact of the matter nowadays. But also, if you know a creator on YouTube, if you know someone who's working with an MCN or is looking to work with an MCN, share this video with them, especially that last part about the 4 key points here. The thing to remember here is that we're all in this together. Creators against the people who are looking to badmouth us, against the people who are looking to take advantage of us, exploit us. And the only way they win is when we don't talk. For now, as it regards the Defy situation, that's the best we can do. The next big decision happens in May, so you can expect 1 or 2 more updates between now and then about how things are going. Just stay patient with us, and if you want to help support us on this channel, please keep watching, keep listening to our story. It really means a lot to us, to all the team here, and to all the other creators who are affected. Hopefully there's a silver lining here, and that silver lining is making sure that no one is ever treated this way ever again. So that's my story. Thanks for letting me get this off my chest. Wish us luck.
Hey, good luck.
Yeah, definitely.
Good luck. I can't emphasize enough. The days of MCNs, as they are now, or as they were, is pretty much over.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's a reason why.
Like he said, it's just copyright protection.
Well,
now.
it's just
basically what we kind of needed with this Sony Japan bullshit to an extent.
Yeah,
I mean?
but it didn't benefit. It wouldn't have benefited us either way, I feel, because
I don't know.
when I tried to contact people at Full Screen half the time, nothing would come of it.
Yeah.
And Matt Pat's right in pretty much the vast majority of all this stuff that he said in this video. I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly to see channels like Smosh, which I've had my discrepancies with, and I don't like as much, but still I appreciate their success and the attention that they brought to YouTube and to take creators seriously. But at the same time, you know, it's just to see that happen to other channels, and not just like the big channels, like, you know, like Screen Junkies, All Me, Game Theorists, Film Theorists, and of course Smosh, but the smaller channels too. Like me, imagine if I would have joined up with Defy Media.
Yeah.
If we would have joined up with Defy Media right then and there, Full Screen, you know, we were done with Full Screen over a couple years ago, and instead we were with Defy.
Then you would have just now got fucked as well, probably.
Yeah, we would have, because this happened right when the contract with Defy would have ended. So, and that's just, that's scary to think about,
now,
dude.
I have a question now, because he just said Machinima was an MCN, didn't he?
Yep, they were.
And didn't you tell me something happened the other night?
Yeah, Machinima deleted the vast majority of the videos on their channel. That includes, like, all their old video game stuff, all their old, like, Machinimations. They even deleted the Bite Me series, which was awesome. It was, like, this online, it was like this YouTube zombie, like, gamer zombie apocalypse series. It was actually really good and really funny. And they deleted it all. They deleted everything, man. And it's sad that they had to do that.
I'm wondering why.
I think it's because they're trying to rebrand themselves. They're trying to get a fresh start.
Maybe.
In which they have 12 million subscribers.
I'm wondering if it's because the dominoes are just falling all at the same time with these MCNs, and they're all about to fucking implode on themselves.
I'd say so, probably.
They probably all started around the same time because they're like, that's a good idea. And then, you know, it's basically something like without a floor underneath it can only hang up in the air for so long before
what
it
I
falls.
would have done if I were Machinima, I would have created the Machinima archives. Like, the Machinima archives, and, like, transferred everything that was on that channel over to a new one that people could go back to and tune into. And that way the new Machinima channel would not be cluttered.
Maybe they have them in a spot where they can do that. Who knows?
I don't know. I looked for the Bite Me series and it was all gone. All of it.
Damn.
And I hate that, because that was actually a series that I really liked, and it actually showed me what was possible with doing like a little internet series by itself. Like you didn't actually have to go and have all of this money to do your own thing, but you instead could do it and have fun. And it was really cool. Hell, you'd have liked it.
Yeah.
But this whole thing has just taught me that the world isn't a nice place all the time. this is a huge example of the world not being very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ugly. It's ugly to see that this is what everything... this is what the world has come to with companies pretty much screwing over their employees and their people that they trust.
That's always kind of been a thing. Like, everybody steps on everyone else's heads to get to the top.
Yeah, and it's just like, I remember the
and then
first...
there's nobody left to step on, so they fucking fall over the edge themselves, and then everybody else falls down with them.
I remembered the first trouble with an MCN I'd ever heard. The big one was when Ray William Johnson left Maker Studios. Because Maker Studios was the biggest MCN out there. Hands down, no doubt about it. And right now I think Full Screen's the biggest now. I'm not sure. But back in the day, Maker Studios was it. They were everything. And then after PewDiePie left and formed his own MCN with Blackjack and Hookers, yeah, it's a callback. And then also when Epic Rap Battles of History left, when all these channels left, when they realized they weren't going to get better treatment being under Disney's umbrella, it just caused like a splitting effect. But I remember when Maker Studios was the key name, that if you wanted to be with an MCN, it was Maker Studios. And actually, that's who I first contacted. But they told us, hey, you don't have enough subscribers. Whenever you reach this this precipice, which I think at the time was like 25,000 subscribers, give us another call. But that never happened because we got picked up by Full Screen. This was back when we had, I think, 6,000, maybe 7,000 subs. And that was a hell of a time. But, yeah, Maker Studios, I remember when Ray William Johnson was the most popular channel on YouTube. He was, I think, one of the first to pass 10 million subs, if not the first. And it was after that when Maker Studios wanted him to sign a new contract, and they tried to pressure him into signing it. They canceled his music album that he was doing, and they threatened him with all this other stuff, and they said he had to sign and hand over pretty much 50% of his ad revenue, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's just ridiculous. 50%.
Nobody deserves half of what you're fucking doing.
Yeah, and Ray pretty much told Maker Studios to get bent. I'm going off on my own.
Was the hardest year.
Pause. I'm actually going to send or to actually put a like on that video myself with my own personal YouTube.
Yeah.
I would ask everybody that watches this reaction if you guys would click through to that original link and give MatPat a like.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do?
And thank you to the people who have recommended us watch this because, like you said at the end, we've already helped out by watching it and giving the video some more buzz. And that's the best we can really do, is try to talk about this video and make it known. And hopefully that bank will hear about it and will help them out.
Yeah, I'm actually leaving a comment here on the video, so, so, if you all want to see what I said on the channel, on the video, feel free to check it out. It's actually, you'll probably see it. So be sure to leave a like on that, and also don't forget to check out MatPat's channel. Don't forget to, because we're subscribed to the Game Theorists on here, and I've already left a like, and this whole thing has just been this whole situation is screwed up.
So this is basically probably the same thing that I'm assuming has affected Matt and Ilya, that's why they contacted us about their new channel.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because Ami was owned by Defy, and now they're doing their own thing. Which, hey, if we can help them out in any way, dude, if we can get them 100 subs or 500 subs or 1,000 subs, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I wish we could. Everyone on our channel could just go sub to That Works, and help them out there, but I can't ask people to do that. I can recommend people do that. But as for what's happening with Defy Media, Matt, Pat, and everyone who's involved, I wish you all Godspeed in getting this resolved, and I hope that everything works out, and I hope that you all receive recompense and you receive what is rightfully yours. I cannot emphasize that enough, because I know what it's like to have something taken from you, and everyone has just told you to move on. Everyone's told you to just get over it, but you don't want to, because this is something that you've donated your time and donated your effort and given your life to. I understand that very well. It's like this channel. I have donated so much of my time, 5 years of my life, to this channel, and there's been some drama that's been happening on our channel here recently that I wouldn't say has threatened the channel, but it has definitely put a little bit of a hitch in some of our plans. And we eventually got over it, but that's something a lot more small and concentrated versus this. This is something that's big, it's shady, it's oily, it has no, like, there's no head of the snake. Whenever I hear stuff like this, there's no head of the snake to cut off to stop this. Instead, it's all just a friggin' giant
It's kind
mess.
of more of a black cloud of evil.
Yeah, it's just a huge, gigantic cloud of doubt, and I'm hoping that Matt and everyone, that Matt, Pat, Matt and Ilya, Smosh, everyone gets the money that they're owed, because that's what's fair, that's what's right, and damn it, I don't want anyone to ever be cheated out of something that they have worked so hard for.
I hope that everybody that got dropped off of there finds a way to keep going and making stuff that their fans enjoy and stuff too. So.
Yes, I agree 100%. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out the original video of this, leave a like on it, share it, subscribe to the Game Theorist. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. Share the love. Let Matt, Pat know that you're on his side. Let him know that you're there for him, guys, because trust me, every comment that comes through that shows support is always a good thing. Always. Don't be afraid of that. And I guess, that's going to do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen here. We hope that you've come away with a little bit of a better perspective of the whole Defy situation, especially from someone as honest as Matt, Pat, with this. So, thank you all very much. And Matt, Pat, if you ever do see this, Matt, Pat, thank you. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for shedding light on this whole dark situation. And I hope everything works out, dude. I really do. So, thank you again, everyone. And until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
And we'll see you in the next one, everybody. Peace out.